constitutional propositions as kind of a get out the vote and voter engagement and voter registration dovetailing effort. So we're going to be telling people about the propositions and also checking if they're registered to vote at the same time. And so now there's 34 clubs across the state will be doing this on September 21st. And we have door hangers and postcards to go along with it.
Very nice.
This is the door hanger, because a lot of people don't understand that voting yes means no tax.
Yes.
And that was very tricky, as it often is. So we're being helpful. We're providing a service to people by going to their doors and letting them know about this very little known constitutional proposition election coming up. And so this is the postcard, and it's double-sided, but I couldn't show both sides on here.
Right.
But so it provides people with information, and the people we're targeting also, especially, are on the younger side. So we asked them if they would like to join the Texas Young Republicans.
Can we get any with you of these?
I'm afraid I don't. They're still at the printer, and if anybody wants to contribute towards getting more of them printed, because we just had, like, Houston wants a lot of them, and Dallas wants some, and we need some for San Antonio. So we haven't actually, we're all coming up with the money to print them ourselves. But if anybody has any ideas for sponsorships for our printed materials, we think that this should be a good way. We think it should be a good way to engage voters and get out the vote.
Okay, what about a picture of this? Can you send it to us?
Oh yeah, I can send you a picture of it.
Send both of those items out. A lot of we just would like.
Oh sure. Be glad to.
Agree, Linda? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Sir, I'd be very
I
happy
don't think
to.
we have an actual YR club out there, but we'd like to.
You should, but
Yeah,
no,
we should.
currently.
Yes. We talked about that last time.
Just gotta find a couple to start it. All right, then the next thing that we have been up to is and Jason, he disappeared. It was amazing. and the chairman, okay.
That's the first time nobody's been able to notice me.
We just completed the Central Texas YR tour. So far this year we did a Border Texas tour, Border Texas YR tour, and an East Texas YR tour, and this was the Central Texas YR tour. So we've been going around and visiting in person on the ground all the YR clubs and finding out what the different situations are. And it's been incredibly interesting. And just because I got to decide, we launched out of San Antonio this time, my own home turf. So some of the events that we had, like this was the club tour kickoff party. So I hear there's this thing called football. And somebody told me there's 4 downs, and that's as much as I know about it, but it was seasonal, so I made that the theme this time. And so it's the 2020 election kickoff tailgate party. That's what we had in San Antonio.
I love it. That's
And
awesome.
this is my whiteboard that don't tell it, Mark DeRazio. I keep borrowing it out of the office and putting it back before he notices. And I take it to each place where I go. And on the back it says caution electrical wires. But hey, I'm a frugal Republican. So actually in San Antonio, we're about to have an entirely Latina board for our young Republicans. It just happens to be that way. And so you can see Chelsea there, and Hernandez is not in the picture there because she was running her Bible study group that night. But Shani, Jamie, so the ones who are in the process of taking over right now are all Latinas. So it's an entirely Latina YR Club board. And while we were there doing this, Chelsea had the idea we should do a drive for Hurricane Dorian's victims. Because the hurricane wound up going in places where they weren't expecting it, where they weren't as prepared. So we sent out a call for stuff like water, dog food, diapers, the kind of things that people need in the first 72 hours after a hurricane. And we partnered with the Red Cross, who then so we delivered them to the local Red Cross, and then we put them on their truck and they delivered them over to the East Coast. And I couldn't believe how much. This is only like half of the stuff that poured in on 72 hours notice.
Awesome.
So it was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
People really, really were generous.
Terrific.
And another stop we had, we did political trivia up in Austin. And that is a really new club, but it's huge already, thanks to Dustin Trope, who is the incoming club development chair. And he's the one standing holding my sign in the middle. And even though another conservative young convention was happening the very same night, we had a pretty good turnout to play trivia. I think it was TCAL or some other convention was happening.
YAL.
Yeah.
Young Americans for Liberty, yeah.
So it was pretty cool that we had people come out, and we had a lot of fun, and we had new people there who signed up as well.
So it's just another club?
Yes, this is the
Another
Austin
club?
Young Republicans.
But there's another YR club in Austin?
No,
It's-
no, it's another
Young
conservative group.
Oh, okay.
Young Americans for Liberty. Yeah.
Liberty is something we believe in, generally.
We're totally cool with that, but they get paid, we don't.
Chip Roy was speaking.
And then we were in Comal, and they are going to become a club on Monday. So they're just starting. So they have 10 people there who are starting a Young Republicans Club there in New Braunfels, because it's excellent, because Beto really did much too well on I-35, and now Wendy Davis is targeting us. She wants to be our congresswoman, and we don't want her as our congresswoman. So that's one of the inspirations why they are forming, and we're very excited to welcome them into the fold. And next, we have on October 4th through 6th, our convention in Houston. And it's going to be a really great event. They have great speakers lined up. We're going to have some locations that are going to make us think we're really important. And it dovetails pretty well with the Texas Federation of Republican Women's Convention, because as people leave that one and they're starting off back up the road towards theirs, out of Galveston, they're going to pass Houston, and why don't they stop for the Young Republicans Gala on Saturday night? And then they can come to our Sunday events. So we would be happy for any of them to come, and that way we weren't competing for speakers so much either. And so if anybody's interested, it's $250 for a non-YR member to attend the gala. We're going to have speakers like Dan Crenshaw, and they've almost met their fundraising goals, and they had some super high goals. Houston YR's really knocked it out of the park when it comes to putting on events. And and they told me an interesting statistic, because they've measured it out. So $1,000 will send 4 young adults to the convention. Well, so that enables 4 to attend the convention. 4 active Young Republicans who they found this have aspired among friends at convention each spend an average of 3 hours a week for the next 80 weeks being activists and block walking. So that's from now till the 2020 election. That amounts to 960 hours of activism and block walking, which results in 28,800 doors knocked for an original investment of $1,000 in Young Republicans. So when they broke it down like that, I'm like, we are worth it.
Absolutely.
Wow, we're a deal. Because all my friends I know spend a lot more than that and put in and are very passionate about our cause. So they are interested in having sponsors so that other people, like from El Paso and the Valley, and other people could maybe attend the convention as well. So if anybody's interested in sponsoring or in helping put on the Houston convention, we'd love to hear from you. And I can definitely get you in touch with the people who are putting it on.